A very good morning to Dr. Amir Hamza and all the students present in this class. My name is Natasha Rajendran, and today I shall present an important an important part of thesis writing, which is the problem statement in thesis research. Without further ado, let's begin this presentation. So basically, what you should understand about the problem statement is it's the foundation of any research, or basically the backbone of the study. When you are writing your thesis, you will always go back to this problem statement to make sure that you are following the right path, that you're doing the right methodology, the right statistical methods to address this issue. It indicates the problem or questions related to the topic. The problem statement will also justify the topic and the leading study based on it. Basically, what this means is that you have to understand what kind of study are you doing. If you want to study perception of people and what they think about an event, you will definitely do an interview based question, which is just a questionnaire. You don't have to use a lab experiment. Basically, the problem statement is a very brief and concise statement, and you can write it into one paragraph, and it specifically considers only the scope of the project. You just have to be specific about what you want to do, where do you want to do it, and how do you want to do it. Basically, the problem statement has a function to hook the reader, in this case, your invigilator during your viva. In your research project, the statement of the problem or problem statement is the first part of the proposal to be read. This is after your title and the abstract. The problem statement should hook the reader, basically interest the person, and establish a persuasive context for what follows. You need to be able to clearly answer the question in a problem statement, which is what is the problem and why is this problem important and worth my attention. When you can explain properly what is the problem and why this problem is worth your attention, then you will define the relevance. The relevance is the justification for you to carry out your research. At the same time, the problem statement limits the scope. You will only focus on some variables and not others, and you will state what variables you're going to study in your problem statement. So basically, it provides an opportunity for you to show why these variables are important. What are the key aspects of a good problem statement? Based on the slide that you're looking, there are five key aspects. Firstly, whatever problem statement or the issue that you're studying has to be significant to the research areas. For example, if you are studying the impact of ammonia pollution in vegetable farming, the targeted respondents that you will be studying are farmers, right? Because you're what related to farming. So your targeted respondents group will benefit from the study because you will be able to provide solutions for them via your study. Like I said, it provides solutions for current research status. It also generates information to get practical implications in research area. If you can deal with the mature research subject and offer good solutions, maybe your ideas might be taken up by government departments or bodies, and they can use your ideas to implement changes. For example, in this area is farming. Secondly, your research and problem statement has to be original. Every research problem should be new and unique in itself. Of course, you can look at previous literature and get ideas on what to do or what to focus on, but you have to differentiate yourself from other research. You have to offer something new. You have to offer novelty. It could be a new method, new statistical method. It could be different types of respondents, a different place, a different sector. You decide, but make sure that you have that difference. The third is feasible. This refers to whether the conditions around you can allow you to proceed with your research. Things like time, availability to subjects, meaning respondents. Do you have the facilities, the equipment, the money to carry out? This is especially important if you're doing lab research. And of course, you have to make sure that it is that your research undergoes ethical considerations. So by looking at all of these aspects, it helps to decide whether the research is appropriate and be carried out or not. Also, make sure that your research problem or the issue that you want to study is current, and it has to be based on current problems and needs so that the results generated will be of use to people who are experiencing the problem now. So this is why current literature review is very important. Lastly, your problem statement should be interesting because you want to hook the reader. If your problem statement is something that has been studied many times and they have many papers on it, this might cause the reviewer to lose interest in your research. So make sure that you are good at what you are doing, you understand what you are doing, and that it should fascinate you and motivate you. So from this point forward, we shall look at how to formulate a research problem. As you can see, there are 5 steps to formulate a research problem. Firstly, you will have to select a research area that you're interested in. Secondly, you will review the literature and theories pertaining to the specific area that you have chosen earlier. And of course, a research area is very broad, so you have to narrow it down or delimit the research topic. The fourth step is evaluating the research problem. And lastly, we will, after getting all the information from the previous steps, you are ready to formulate the final statement of the research problem. We shall discuss a little bit more thoroughly in the following slides. So the first step, as mentioned earlier, is selection of a research area. So you need to identify what area of research that you're interested in, and what kind of experiment or interview that you would like to undergo. So how do you get ideas? You get inspiration from personal experience, previous research or literature review, and you'll also look at theories in which you are interested and has significance to your research. For example, okay, so I'm going to use an example of a researcher that gets an idea to conduct a study on sustainability in the agricultural sector. In the following steps after this, I will always refer to this example, so I hope that you can follow me. Okay, so for example, a researcher gets an idea to conduct a study on sustainability in the agricultural sector. As you can see, there are two very broad areas in this one sentence: sustainability and the agricultural sector. There are many, many issues in sustainability, whether you're talking about pollution or management practices. When it comes to agricultural sector, what specific agriculture? Is it a fruit? Is it a vegetable? Is it a particular type of animal practice? Because animal growing is also under agriculture. So at this moment, you have a vague idea of what to do. You have a broad research topic. So once you have a broad idea for the research, and as we identified earlier, it's a sustainability topic in relation to agriculture. So you will look at sustainability literature and sustainable practice adoption theories, because you need to find out what is relevant in this research area. So you need to look at papers. What's the point of doing literature review? You need to find out what has already been done so that you can look it up. Of course, you can make sure that you don't follow these papers, or if you want to follow, you can follow, but make sure that you, like I said earlier, you do something original. You add an extra idea, an extra suggestion. So in this example, a review of sustainability theories provides an opportunity for an agriculture researcher to plan a research problem. And then once you have a research problem, you can identify, okay, what can I do to solve this problem? Am I going to do a theoretical model or a conceptual model? What kind of statistics are you going to use? So now that you have gotten some ideas and literature, it is important for you to delimit the research topic. In this step, you will proceed from a general area of interest, which is sustainability and the agricultural sector, to a more specific topic of research. It is important for you to be specific. So earlier, like I said, the researcher decided to conduct a study on sustainability in the agricultural sector. Now, through literature review, and he has decided what you want to do. He has decided to limit it to a specific research topic: a study on perception of male farmers about soil pollution issues in tomato farms in Peninsular Malaysia. Look at how it has been narrowed down. Number one is a study on perception. So we know that when you want to study about perception or what people think about something, we will do a interview-based research, which will use a questionnaire. So we can push away the lab experiments. Male farmers. Perhaps this researcher would like to study what is the role of gender when it comes to farming. That is why he's only going to interview farmers who are men. And we were talking about sustainability issues in the agricultural sector. This topic will only focus on soil pollution. So we can exclude or eliminate all other kinds of sustainability issues. The researcher has chosen to use tomato farms, the specific agricultural product, and he has decided to limit his geography to just Peninsular Malaysia and not whole of Malaysia. So as you can see, this specific research topic has been delimited. It has been narrowed down to be specific. This is very helpful. So once you have specified your research problem, now you have to think of aspects such as the feasibility of this research problem. You have to know whether it's a significant problem in that research area. You have to know whether it is you can carry out your interview, and whether it's feasible. Feasible means that you should look at aspects like time, cost, availability of subjects, administrative and peer support, ethical consideration, and your competence and interest. Let me be a bit more specific. This The previous slide said that we are going to do a research on soil pollution issues in tomato farms, right? So let's talk. So this involves an interview, and this involves a questionnaire. So you need to check, do you have the time? As an undergraduate student, you need to divide your time for your field research in your undergrad, the third year, when you are doing your final year project, and you also have to divide the time for your studies. So you need to check, do I have enough time to go to the field and interview these farmers? Cost. Obviously, when you do an interview, you need to print out questionnaires. There is a cost for publication of the sorry, not publication, the printing of these questionnaires. To travel to meet these farmers in the tomato farms, you need to spend money on the journey, on hiring a rental car. Cost. Availability of subjects and resources. Are these farmers ready to be interviewed by you? You need to call them, make an appointment, so you need to make sure that they want to be interviewed by you. And being university students, we need to get the approval and support of the university before you go out to the field. So you need to get permission from the administrative. In this case, it means your faculty, your faculty teachers. You need to get permission from them. If you are doing this as a group project, you need to make sure that your friends are ready to support you. Also, ethical consideration. Please make sure that your project is not breaking any laws and not harming anything in your research. For example, if you do a lab experiment and you want to test on animals, you need to get permission from governmental agencies to test on the animals. So this is important. Lastly, make sure that you are prepared, that you have the competence and interest to carry out your research, because interview is not just about asking people. You need to know what kind of questions to ask the farmers in this case. And of course, being the final step of the research problem formulation, after you have established the significance, the researchability and feasibility, you're ready now to formulate the final statement of a research problem. Here is a tip on how to write a problem statement. This is a technique that I got from a journal by Miles 2017. The reference is at the bottom of the slide. So basically, Miles has provided a statement grid. This is the box that you see in front of you. This is called a statement grid, and here is where you present your problems in a visual way. So as you can see, there are two columns. One is the one above, which is called overall problem statement. Here you will put your overall problem, and I'm sure that every problem has sub problems, so you will write it on the below column, which is divided into three: sub problem 1, sub problem 2, and sub problem 3. So the next slide will show a bit more specifics about this technique. Basically, this is a helpful tool to help you to see what is your problem, what is linked to it. This helps you to be clear about how all the problems are connected. It can also help in your writing because you have already separated the issues. You can look at it one by one clearly. This is an example that was given in the same paper. Basically, I've highlighted in red the key aspects of the problem. So in this problem, it is called the shortage in the nursing field. There's a huge problem with the shortage and availability of nurses. This researcher has found that in the nursing field, there are not many nurses, and this is a problem for him. So he has subdivided this into three sub problems, which he believes contributes to the shortage in the nursing field. So let's look at what are the sub problems to the main problem, which is the shortage in the nursing field. Sub problem 1: the researcher believes that The education of new nurses is the responsibility accepted by institutions of higher education. So basically, what he's trying to say is there is a shortage of higher education institutes to train nurses. When there is a lack of institutes, this limits the enrollment, education, and graduation of new nurses from these institutes. So this is a problem that he feels contributes to the main problem, which is shortage in the nursing field. Second problem is 75% of nursing faculty will attain retirement age in 2017. Because there are many because 75% of the nurses will be leaving the nursing faculty in the year of 2017, the researcher believes that this will contribute to a shortage in the nursing field. Lastly, is that the current nursing faculty or the current nurses express low job satisfaction. Because they have a low job satisfaction, this is making retention and recruitment difficult. Retention refers to the fact that the nurses do not want to stay in the job, and because they are not satisfied, recruiting newer nurses or hiring newer nurses is also a problem. So as you can see, these three issues contribute to one issue, which is shortage in the nursing field. So, what is the point of dividing it into smaller issues? First of all, when you have three sub problems, you have three different statistical methods to solve each issue. For example, sub problem one is talking about the issue of education and educational institutes. So you will choose a method or a theory that will relate to the role of education in in the influence of job hiring for nurses. So you will choose a specific theory and specific method to address that. Second sub problem is talking about age of nurses and how it contributes to the shortage in the nursing field. So you need to do some studies and find theories that relate age to job occupancy in the nursing field. Lastly, this is a low job satisfaction. This relates to perception. Perception kind of studies involves questionnaires and interviews. So for the third sub problem, you will need to go to do some interviewing, and this involves a questionnaire. So you can see all three sub problems require different or correlated statistical methods to solve it. So this makes it easier for you to identify what needs to be done for each specific problem, and all of this will contribute to solving the problem of shortage in the nursing field. Reach the conclusion for my problem statement presentation. Basically, I would just like to make you understand that a good problem statement will address several issues. Firstly, a good problem statement puts the problem in context. What do we already know? What do you understand about the current issue, the current status of what is happening? Number two, it describes the precise issue that the research will address. What do we need to know? Is there a problem in your research area? Do you know what is it about? The specifics. Number three, show the relevance of the problem. Explain to your supervisor and explain to your invigilator why this is a problem, why it needs to be studied, why is it important. And lastly, you will have a problem statement that can set the objectives of the research. Okay, previously you've already identified your problems. What will you do to find out? What are the methods, the surgical methods? What theories are you going to use? So if you can put all of this into one paragraph, write it specifically, I'm sure that you can come up with a good problem statement, which will help you in a more efficient and guided thesis writing. I hope that you have benefited from this presentation. Thank you very much.